Yeah, propose this in hours. Almost. If everyone would rise, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance together. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Welcome, everybody. A few items, if everybody could silence cell phones and watches, etc. Our meetings are public and recorded. This is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes, and for best sound quality, please lean into these microphones to speak. We have a few folks out this evening, so I'll be covering a few of these meetings. To kick off finance, I will chair the finance in lieu of Alderman Mueller. So I'll call it to order at 6 p.m. Mueller is absent, as is Demond, but Hanabit, Nevoy, and Peel are present. No old business, so new business. I will ask for a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. There's an investment registrar in your packet. There are no CDs coming due, but I think by next month, we'll probably be talking about a plan for those October, November, December CDs that are coming due. The financial dashboard, we are 3 months into the fiscal year already, a quarter behind us already. Total revenues at 18%, expenditures at 17%. You can see the trial balance there, the cash we have on hand, how the loans are doing, and then our adjusted net income is at the bottom. Are there any questions on that? If there are none, I'll keep moving. The picnic shed expansion project, Jill, did you know whether was a representative coming from the?
Kevin said he was going to talk with Aaron and Kurt and just kind of.
Yeah, he gave me a call the other day and we kind of talked it over.
I'm going to turn it to one of you folks and. let
Yeah, I
you
mean,
talk
Kevin
about it.
wants me to, that's why, what they're wanting to do is to stay out on 20 foot. Straight south, I guess, of the building. Basically for coolers and just additional storage. From what I understand, they're just looking for approval to do it. They're not looking for any financial support or anything like that.
Yeah, I think this is a little ways in the future. I think this is just an idea to get in everybody's head a little bit. I haven't got any bids or anything like that or any kind of plans or anything drawn up, so.
Do they need an approval from this body to move forward though?
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
I guess it would, I mean, I guess it would need approval that city would approve to go ahead and add on, I mean, because it's really just that low dip where they're on south. There's nothing
And
really-
you two both are in agreement to move this forward?
Yeah. I don't-
Yeah, it would definitely be helpful. For sure.
I would call for a motion to move forward for the firemen to move forward with their picnic shed expansion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're up to public comments. Anything else this evening for finance? Okay, hearing none, we'll close finance at 6:02. Next up is personnel committee, and I'll take that one as well. I will call that to order at 6:02. Alderman Demond and Dojan are out, but Hebert, Parsons, and Peel are present. There's no old business. As far as new business, I'll call for a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments for personnel? Hearing none, I will close the personnel at 6:03. Next up, public health and safety, and I can hand that off.
I'll call a public health and safety to order at 6:03. Myself, Hebert. And Parsons, okay. I was gonna say, wait a minute, we don't have one. Myself, Hebert, and Parsons are present, Dojan and Miller is absent, so we do have a quorum. No old business, under new business approval. Prior month's meeting minutes, I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Departmental activity report, you should all have a copy of it in your packet. Anybody got any questions for John?
No, looks like the golf carts are moving along. We've got a few.
What's on the yesterday? The guy that initiated the whole conversation.
I've seen him more than anybody.
Okay. Training request. We have a request from Tyler Clellon for basic SWAT. It is in Chicago from October sixth through the 15th, 10 days. There's no registration fee. He would get 1 meal per day at $20. Use squad car to get there. And it says the lodging is free for the department, is that?
Yeah, this is part of his ILEAS stuff, so he'd be going to Chicago for this, as part of ILEAS,
So basically, it's gonna cost us $200.
yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we send Tyler Cleveland to SWAT training in Chicago.
Second.
Got a motion a second, any comments, all in favor? Motion carried. The next one is a training request for Robert Brittingham. Let's see, it is AR-15. Not sure what that says,
Or an armor course.
Armor course,
Which I think
course.
I thought it's a good idea that we keep them up and running, and if they break, he can fix them, that's
Okay. Again, there's no registration fee. We would have to pay for the rounds of ammo and $20 a day for meals. Is he gonna drive back and forth or?
Yes.
Okay. So. I don't know how much ammo. You got any idea? Yeah. Just,
Not offhand, I can get some, it's not a big deal.
I mean, just for. like-
I'm sure we have some already in stock. From our
So
last
it's not,
purchase.
not a major expense.
So,
Okay. I'll make a motion, we send Robert Brittingham to AR-15 armors. Training.
second.
Motion and second, any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. And let's see, public comments, anything good for the city? Hearing none, we'll adjourn at 6:07.
Okay, next up is cultural committee or cultural discussion. Yes.
I'll call the cultural discussion to order at 6:07. And myself and Gebert are present, Demond, Dojan, and you are all absent. So I guess open for discussion, right? Or we just.
Yeah, the minutes will just carry over to the next meeting.
Okay. We can't approve anything, right?
But you need to-
So is there any discussion around, auxiliary? Lending library at Racks Park,
If you have a
would you like
representative
to
here.
come up and speak?
Good evening. Good evening, thank you for having me. Yes, this is a project for the Rivet Auxiliary of the Rivet Post VFW sixty.
State your name, please,
Oh.
for the record, thank you.
Catherine Romo, Senior Vice Rivet Auxiliary to Post 6632 Rivet, Illinois. And this is a proposal by the Rivet Auxiliary to place a lending library in Rats Park next to the main. I guess you could call it a shelter. There's a stand there right now, I think, where people make reservations. So this would be all funded by the auxiliary. You can buy the little box, the little house even on Amazon, so you can find anything on Amazon. So this would be strictly funded by the auxiliary, books purchased by the auxiliary and maintained by the auxiliary, so no cost to the city. We're just requesting approval to move forward to make that purchase.
That sounds fair.
Thank you.
We can't grant approval here, it'll go to,
I'm sorry.
we can't grant the approval here because we're just in discussions, so it'll go on to a city council meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your talk. Do we have discussions around the other things here, or will we just? jump down to the things that.
I would like to mention on the high school use of Lincoln Park for the Cahokia Conference Cross Country Meet, it says in there something about. Utilize all parking options, including grass field area, and in the past, we don't. I don't know that we've allowed, said willingly, except for maybe on the swim team conference at Rex Park. For parking in the grass unless,
And after talking with the athletic director, Mr. Quigley, he assumed that some of the parking was our property and not Swick's. And then after he got the race course all drawn out, they're not gonna be parking on any kind of grass at this point, because they're gonna be utilizing those areas for the course. So we discussed parking, with Swick, what they have available in Lincoln Park, and then also he was going to potentially do some shuttling from their lot at the high school.
if you could also maybe talk to the hospital.
And I told them to talk to the hospital and say, just to make them aware that this was going on, because there would be quite a significant amount of people. Those cross country meets are kind of chaos, like there's people everywhere, so he was looking into more shuttling options, more parking options. And wouldn't be doing any kind of parking on the grass.
And my only comment is just remind him on the food trucks,
Or he did.
the licensing and then the parking, they cannot be on the streets when they're vending, they've gotta be in, so that would be the only other thing.
Yes, he was looking at putting the food trucks over where the skate park used to be. Like, I must say,
Okay, to clarify, this is the grade school, the elementary school, you said the high school, which one is it?
It's the elementary.
Okay.
and it's-
Thank you.
It says on your junior high school. Hold on.
Right.
Oh, okay, I'm with you. Any other comments or concerns about that? Okay. And then we have one here for, the line club, the four-way, all of that looked like, any questions or comments around that? Okay, and then we have some, additions to the street collection guidelines and request form. So if you pull that up. The big call out is basically on the last line of what you fill out. Isn't that right, man?
Well, I can give you some background on this.
Yeah.
We previously approved an American Legion Riders Post that was not associated with Redbud. And I did get some pushback from that, and it made me think about, I can remember years back when Mike Reed sat over here somewhere. And I thought at that time, the spirit of street collections was to benefit Redbud and Redbud residents. This piece of paper really doesn't say that. So I think it's just a good time to take a look at this and maybe strengthen some of these dots, stars. And then also, and make sure that the certificate of liabilities really need to be coming in up front. We shouldn't be chasing down folks up to the event to get those. And it does say that on here, but maybe it should say that it needs to be with the application. And whatever else we come up with, just to clarify this form a little bit more.
I think that's fair, I mean, your liability should be with the application, that way we're not tracking it down. After the fact or days before, right?
So I don't know, between Bryce, myself, Jill, if we can probably take a look at this and bring back a marked up copy next month is what I was possibly thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
Cause that, especially Bill, you've been on here longer, is that your recollections of what the spirit of this was?
Yes, and I can remember Mike talking about that.
And I agree,
Kind of like a lot of things that kind of just lost track and
kind of faded away.
faded away.
And if it's actually written in here, it'll be.
Yeah. I think we kind of did that for a while and then it just kind of.
Cause like when I came on, I had no idea, it was, and it makes perfect sense, like local money for local
Yeah, I
places, I mean, it makes perfect
I
sense.
agree, because there's times you pull up there and you're like, okay, who are you guys, you know?
Yeah,
I think the challenge is just going to be defining local.
Mhm.
What does that mean? But yeah, we're gonna come up with some ideas. Proposals.
Local up to the discretion of
it's also our
the
discretion.
council.
You can have some ideas for us too, so.
Yeah, and it does say on there that the city council reserves the right to attach additional stipulations when approving any election requests, so.
And otherwise, you, like you said, you're gonna get into. Our groups in Sparta, but I live in Redmond, so can we,
Okay, well, we can mark this up and like I said, bring back a copy next month.
Okay. And I will make a call out, we are now 12 days from the America 250 celebration. It's coming upon us quickly. So I hope we all be ready for that. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I will close cultural discussion at 6:14.
Okay, next up is Public Works Committee.
I call Public Works at 6:14 with myself, Monmouth, Leroy and Parsons all present, Dorian is absent, no business, power plant report.
We've had no generation runs within the past month. We typically don't during the summer months unless we're called on to generate. We'll start back up with our scheduled generation runs in September.
Okay, utilities,
Just the business part's been ongoing, water on the gas and electric, water side, lead and copper sampling. Excuse me, let me back up. On the electric side, we did have the outage on, early Sunday afternoon. On Westfield Drive, we had a bad transformer back there, we had to swap out. There was about 4 or 5 houses out or something like that. And then last Thursday was a, outage on the 69 kV line. Found when I called this SIPC at about 2:38 in the morning or whatever. It was a fault on the line out there. It just, we wanted to double check, make sure there was no fault on the line before we were able to join back up with them to get power back, so.
it was dark.
Yeah, Cliff said that when he left the house, he said, you don't realize how dark it is when there's absolutely 0 lights. So. Under sewer, we did get the new pump installed in the West Market lift station. Additional pump still on order. I did find out on Friday that we have our, every 3 years IEPA comes in and does an inspection on the water plant. That'll be this Friday. Streets, the MFT concrete projects are ongoing. They finished the patching. We will open up the other 3 patches at Flint and the 2 on Country Club tomorrow. So all the patching will be done. They'll have everything, then they'll backfill. They should, I think Jeff said, finish the sidewalks by Thursday. They started doing some removals up on Theodore Rock Hill, and they'll bring the curb machine in and planning to do a lot of curb work with a machine. He said with any luck, they should get 1,300 to 1,500 feet done on Friday in curb using that curb machine. So that's ongoing there as well.
okay. Session planning, anything,
No real update other than what I put in there. We do have started a process for a laborer's position replacement, for the mayor's approval. I had that in my weekly.
the annual CPI utility rate increase.
Yeah, it was, and it was, I believe it was the leadership team meeting or whenever we discussed that last week. We were talking about this and just kind of, we had it in there. Last couple of months, just wanted to see if this is something that, we wanted to move forward with. Obviously, nothing, if we were to do this, would take any effect until May 1st of the new fiscal year. That would only be for the water, gas, water and sewer, and electric, because of the current rate increases wouldn't take effect until 29. Because we have 2 more rounds from the rate study. An ordinance previously passed in the electric that we have 2 more years of electric rate increases. And per the CPI, this would just be something that would take effect. Effective May 1, which would be your May usage, June billing. Unless previous other action is taken by council to, you can not do an increase that year, you could lower the rate up to, where we get to where the CPI was crazy high, in 2021 time. So there's other actions that can be taken. This could be reviewed, February, March timeframe each year when we're doing that to determine if that's the course of action we would want to do for that year.
There's nothing really we need to do.
If everybody's okay with it, then, we can make a recommendation to approve. This and then authorize city attorney to draft necessary documents, and then we can bring those documents back for a formal vote. At the council meeting or whenever they can be prepared. We'd have some time because it wouldn't take effect until May.
Question, anybody? Now, go ahead and make a motion to approve the annual rate increase. They have that started on, I should say. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, and MI metering project update.
Per request, I just wanted to put in, last month, I provided the, you know, the kind of the cost breakdown per year. And, you know, a generic schedule depending on how we wanted to do this. Now, obviously, stuff can move around and fluctuate. I was, asked to provide, you know, some, financials on monies available for paying for the project. As you can see, we, with the estimated project cost. And then potential revenue sources include, you know, you have money that was currently in the current fiscal year budget. Some non-spending reserve. Money that we could use on the electric fund. You have electric rate increases that'll help on that side. Again, with what we just were looking at with the CPI increases, that with extra additional revenue there would help. Speaking with Liz, we have the interest income that we've been getting. She thought typically we would wait to get the interest check at the end, but they've been getting that interest to us. I think so far we've earned $21,000 or $22,000 on our electric CD. Also too, what Jill had mentioned previously would be what availability of any grants or any kind of thing to help with this type of projects be another potential source of revenue on this. With that in mind, when I was talking with Scott Jacobson, with Fletcher Reinhardt, he mentioned that if, you know, we wanted to move forward, we would just get with Landis and Gear to have them start the contract process. They would get the contract kind of drafted up, we could get it over to the attorney for review, get it marked up, you know. Best case scenario, I say we're passing it sometime first part of 27. You know, because we'd have some time, then we, you know, could then get an idea of how we wanted to do, we build a plan. And have some things together, so. Seems like everybody seems to be on board with going with this, I can show that we have the money to be able to kind of help cover these costs. Moving forward throughout the next couple fiscal years. And with that, if anything, I would just say we make a recommendation. I would say we could make a recommendation to authorize to starting the contract process with the with Landis and Gear.
Questions, comments, anybody? Now I'd like to go ahead and make that recommendation, get the contract process started. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, new business, I'd like to make a motion, we approve prior month's meeting minutes, July 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is a attorney request for Jacob Snowhorn.
Yeah, this one I will explain, because of the timing of this and per the guidelines that were passed in regards to training requests, if something were to come up where we couldn't quite meet the timing, I could get the mayor's approval to keep this process moving forward. She did authorize the approval, so he's actually at the training this week. I just had it on here for formal approval, so we'd have it on the record. So it shows what training they are providing the employees. This is the pre-apprentice assessment training. And then hopefully once he obviously we're planning to pass this, maybe late September, then we'll be looking for possibly his lab one already.
I'd like to, well, just make a motion. Make a motion to approve the training request for Jacob Snowhorn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is a resignation of Zach Roman, effective August 26, 26.
Yeah, I would just, he is putting his 2 weeks notice, he is pursuing what he had planned through schools, what he got a scholarship for through school, so I'm happy for him on that regard, so. I would just recommend the acceptance of the resignation as presented.
I'd like to make that motion to accept the resignation from Zach Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other public comments?
Josh, I guess, and I don't know where else to bring it up, so I'll do it here. We're gonna have an economic development meeting next week, and I kind of give all the committee members advance notice of some of the items up for discussion. One of those was ideas on helping promote and move the business part. I got back 3 different comments from 3 different people. Is there a plan on what we're gonna do with the weeds and the grass?
Yeah, now that we already talked about what we got, I kind of mentioned it with the mowing. That we'll do, I kind of mentioned it, and Jeff has it too as well, that will do what we have with the business part or first phase, industrial park, taking a mower, going down the road edges. And getting that while they're keeping the other stuff mowed for the hay that they are putting out there for that, so.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, I guess, you know, I'm trying to promote it to sell
Yeah,
lots.
so I think they did, he's talked to my mention, so we're trying to get in there, they're gonna get the bush hog out, try and get a lot of that stuff done. I know they did cut that, some of the areas where they were digging in, putting in for the install, but I had mentioned to them along the roads and around all the pipes and meters and valves to. That we can stake those and then, then we can maintain up and down those roads.
A suggestion, and just from doing all the subdivisions in town, mark your property corners, because you're gonna lose them. even though
They got taller pipes out there already.
Well, but I'm saying if you mark them on the edge of the concrete curb, with a concrete solid, you can always go back and get them, because they're the same distance off the curb every time. So just an idea.
Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? None, I make a motion, we adjourn at 6:25.
Okay, next up is zoning committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I will call zoning committee meeting to order at 6:25. Myself, Devon is absent, Hughes is present, Mueller is absent, and Eagle is present. Nothing under old business, new business. I'll make a motion to approve prior month's meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any public comments or anything for the good of the city?
Alan, I do. I'm gonna formally thank you for your photography skills, and what you see behind Jill is what we blew that up. She did her Canva skills on top of it, and we've got a nice display that we now can take places in different meetings and different. So thank you again for doing that for us.
And we do have a planning committee meeting tomorrow night, we have a hearing, so we will have that going on tomorrow night. Nothing else, I will adjourn the zoning committee meeting at 6:26.
Okay, and one last meeting tonight, the recreational facilities, I will take that one, I will call it to order at 6:26. Alderman Dojon and Demond are out, but Hanavit, Nevoy, and Peel are with us. There is no old business. As far as new business, I'll call for a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes.
So,
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next up in the packet is a pool postseason repair from Hare. Josh, do you want to speak to this a little bit?
Yes, I can. This was previously brought up at the one of the previous committee meetings regarding some additional piping and different things for the repairs in the postseason. It was asked what these costs kind of would be to see if we needed to include extra money into the capital plan. The capital plan line currently can cover a lot of these items. There was two things that they are waiting some additional information on, would be the diaphragm that's in there, and then also the valve, the drain valve for the filter basin. Everything is kind of was poured into the concrete. So if you try and take something off, then what problems could you encounter with that? You don't want to go cutting the concrete wall, then what sealing issues would you have to try and get that sealed back up? So they are talking with a pool company that does specialize in that type of stuff to get a better idea on what can happen there. What you have in front of you is just some postseason items that we could, once the pool closes for the season, we could get a lot of this taken care of. As previously discussed and mentioned, because these will be maintenance items, we are able to use Hare Plumbing or a contractor of that nature because it's not full blown, it's just minor spots. Since we're not doing a full blown, upgrade, it doesn't constitute then where we're doing a construction project and then would require IDPH oversight with an IDPH contractor. So this is maintenance work that could be done and be ready to go then before next season. And I will say that knock on wood, we have the piping. It fixes, have I think taken care of what problem we had with the same, so.
Had a good season so far.
Yes, is this something they plan on doing now, or?
It would be after the season's over, so we just, for authorizing, to move forward with these repairs after the season.
My only question is if they would decide to wait till next spring.
No, it would be once we have council approval, I could tell him that you have now until, I want these done by February 1st. Type of thing.
I just wanna make sure that.
No, I would put a timeline.
Something doesn't double between.
No, that's why I want, if we can get to it sooner, then we know we'll be done and taken care of before the season.
I would make a motion then to approve the repairs of pool not to exceed 7,700 with hair plumbing.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for hair plumbing repairs, all in favor? Anyone opposed? That motion carries. We're up to public comment, and Jill, I don't know, do you want to jump in on this wonderfully colorful stuff you left us?
Yes, so as I had mentioned in my weekly, this was. Sent over to us Friday afternoon. I wanted to just print it out for everybody so you could have a copy of it and you could look over it. Basically Jeff and I told Farnsworth they had to get the budget down to 1.2 million, which would be half of our match is the 600,000. The 50/50 grant, so that's what we're trying not to exceed the max grant award. The things that you noticed in yellow off to the side, those have been removed as future potential improvements. Farnsworth recommended that instead of just cutting them out completely from the budget, they kind of need to see this OSLED grant as a whole master plan of what we would like to do with the park. So that's why those yellow things are taken out to the side, so they can see the growth in the future. Just wanted to, this is kind of a speak now, forever hold your peace type of deal. We're getting ready to submit at the end of October, or I'm sorry, at the end of August is our deadline. So we will have this week and next to review, and then it has to be submitted. So wanted to get this in front of you as soon as we could then to see if you had any other thoughts, suggestions, comments, etc. The things I will note that we left in the grant on purpose. In order to receive this grant award, you were scored on a rubric. And so the more areas that you can check off in your box, the more points you will receive. So for example, I know one of the things that I immediately had cut was the native pollinator area. However, that is a special section on the grant that if we go with, then we get those points automatically if we have that included in our plan. So there are a lot of those types of strategic leave-ins. And so if you see something that you think should be removed, talk to Jeff or I, because there may be a reason why it was still included in there in order to give ourselves the best chance of scoring as high as we possibly can through this application.
And this is all like for the restrooms, is it anything for the existing restrooms, or are we leaving that as is for now?
The existing restrooms would be as is.
Okay.
I will note too that this plan is a little different than the one that you received before. The biggest differences are the size of the parking lot was scaled down a little bit, and instead of resurfacing the existing tennis court into a tennis court / skate park, those items were moved up to the nice flat ground where there's no underground water spring or issues that we may come encounter, because that was the problem like before. We think there's a spring under that tennis court, and so no matter what we would do, you're kind of opening yourself up to future maintenance issues with the tennis court by leaving it there. So we had asked Farnsworth, what happens if we move it? Would we have enough money to be able to do so? And they worked the budget out to where they believe it was possible.
And Jill, what would happen to the existing tennis court?
We would not be touching that with grant funds. It would just be an open area that we could repurpose for however we determine in the future.
So the tennis court itself though would be gone.
This does not include any destruction of the tennis court. No, it would just not be touched.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Jill or Jeff at this point? As she said, we're bearing down on a deadline, so if you do have some questions, please get them, I would say tomorrow, get any questions to them, so.
Are the current tennis courts, are they people still, or are they?
They're usable, but there's some noticeable cracks in them.
I don't know if it would be possible for like to make those into pickleball courts, since
Well,
those seem to be pretty popular.
We had previously had that with McConnell Associates. And it did, they tried to fill those tracks, they redid the posts for the tennis courts and repainted it. And whatever's underneath there, it's causing, they're coming right back, so.
It's
been there from day one.
Yeah, I remember, that was before my time, I know what I was saying, and there was,
Did they call it underground lake or something?
Yeah.
At that time?
We had to build up to get a level spot, so we put some fill in there. Part of it, on the other side of it, we cut in the side of the slope, I guess, the west side slope. The tallest one, it leaked water for years. And,
It was quite an issue when that whole thing was.
Right.
Initially,
so it's not a good spot for it,
it's, you know, it's,
but we didn't know it at the time.
If I remember right, Josh, I think it was like 2016 or 2017 when we did the last major renovation to it, and you know, we didn't get 10 years out of it. So. It's just it's a problem area, so rather than exacerbate that with a newer surface on it, this moving those probably makes sense.
And it's the flattest ground that we have on the whole property, so it kind of makes sense if you were going to have those items. We needed to put it on a nice flat surface.
It kind of helps us sell the parking lot too. It's honestly, it's not really on parking lots.
Yes.
you had to resurface the one.
Do we have any specifics on this pollinator, $20,000 for native seeds? Wow.
He basically said it's something that they just spread down and,
I talked to him about that and I told him, I don't want the weed mess that I have over in the splash pad. I'm constantly over there doing something, trying to keep that looking nice. And he said this will be more along the lines of broadcast seating an area. And it will be natural to where it will take over the entire thing. It will not be mulch, it will not be rock.
I know your native grasses get way up there in price, but
Yeah,
20,000 seems like a lot for.
I think we spent close to 50 on the splash pad.
but that was for landscape.
That's landscaping as well.
We're talking broadcast seating.
I understand.
yeah, and I think this is something similar to what Raceline has done on the backside of their property to help with things, so they can put some stuff back there. And then, like, one time a year, they have us come and mow that down, if they don't mow it, so it's something probably similar to that, that basically is like a native grass that they just let grow up, because it's like, for lack of a better description, like a CRP program.
These may be some very fieldy estimates to make sure we're covered.
Right.
So. Okay, any other questions? Like I said, if not, you know where Jill's at, you know where Jeff's at, and like I said, the time is coming to hit the submit button, so. Okay, any other items this evening under recreational facilities? Okay, hearing none, we are going to adjourn this meeting at 6:37, which means we are completely done for the evening.